Hi, it's AJ again. So this week we did the self management exercise, and what I really learned about myself was that I have a full schedule, and I still don't feel like I'm doing enough. Um, I feel like even when I plan things, there's not really enough time to do all of the things as well as I would like to do them. So, for example, I wake up, I get my son ready, I take my son to school, start work, get off work, do more work, go to the chiropractor, come home, do more work, or get him ready for bed, do more work or school, go to bed, repeat. So there's not really a lot of time for me. And then when there is time for me, um, it's usually an obligation to somebody else. So like today, I only left the house because it was my godson's christening. So that was time that I could have spent doing other things, but that's something that's important to me, and I know that's important to my village. So I wanted to make sure that I was present and available, even though I knew I had 10,000 other things that I needed to do. Um, I did already know that I had a really full schedule. I already knew that I had a lot of things on my plate. And I already knew that I didn't feel like I was doing everything as efficiently as it could be being done. Um, a tangible way that my leadership can be redefined based on the knowledge from this week. I think that it's going to be about prioritizing time. I think a lot of times I think about self management in terms of I have all of these things that I have to get done and all of them have to get done. But I think that finding ways to prioritize what I want to get done and how they get done is going to be key for me, not even just in my personal life, but even my professional life. Um, because there's always going to be something that has to get done. And so figuring out how to truly prioritize while still being efficient and getting things done is going to be something new for me. So I think that's going to go into like reorganize. So I worked on like time management and planning last week, oddly enough. I think this week is going to be okay. Now, how do I add prioritization into that? How do I shift as needed? Right now, I think I'm still lacking discipline. Nope. I take that back. It's not that I'm lacking discipline. I think that I lack a backbone. I don't know how to say no. So if somebody calls, I'm coming. If somebody needs me, I'm there. If somebody is like, oh my God, I'm going through this, I'm like, how can I help? And it just adds more onto my plate that because I always want to help. I always want to be there for everybody else. And I end up not putting myself first, and therefore I end up falling behind in the things that I need to do and I need to take care of. So, a professional development opportunity based on that would be learning how to set boundaries and stick with them. And I think that's going to be something that's a little easier for me to do nowadays because my fiance and I are working on this debt reduction plan that's going to require a lot of discipline and a lot of boundary setting and a lot of no's. Um, and I think it's going to be beneficial in my work, school, life balance as well. So just setting those boundaries and being firm in them. Oh my God, I'm so sorry to hear that you're going through that. Can we maybe set up a phone call for after this time? Basically, essentially after I finish doing what I need to do. Like, let me prioritize me first, and then I can be there for you because then that'll also allow me to show up as my best self. If I'm not stressed thinking about all the things that I got to do when I get off the phone with you, or all the things that I got to do when I leave your house from consoling you or helping you through whatever it is that you're going through. Um, in order to be successful in this journey, I think that my fiance is going to be the person for this one again, and just keeping me accountable with maintaining my boundaries. We do have a joint calendar, so anything that I do gets put in the calendar, even if it's a last minute thing, it's getting put in the calendar. Like that way, we always know where each other are at every time. So I think that him being able to keep me accountable and like if I put something in the calendar, be like, ma'am, what's this? No, 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 no. and just holding me accountable with maintaining those boundaries. Um, in regards to establishing a timeline for my growth, what I want to do is by the end of the semester, I want to be in a good place as far as time management and boundary setting. I feel like for me, those are the two. It's less about time management and more about prioritization and boundaries. They kind of go hand in hand for me. So I'm really looking forward to this semester being my learning curve and not needing to need that learning curve again. Figuring out how to maintain everything that I need to maintain in order to be successful, in order to feel fulfilled myself in life, and then also be able to show up for people in whatever way that looks like, while still maintaining my boundaries and what I need for me, and prioritizing me. Um, I think that the way to do this will be first establishing those boundaries, figuring out what I want those boundaries to look like, what I want them to be. Once I figure out those boundaries, I think the next step would probably be communicating them with the people closest to me and kind of just getting fillers out, if that makes sense. Seeing how people receive it, seeing maybe with some of my closer friends, maybe I can say it to them as is and have them help me workshop that, so that maybe those people who aren't as close to me and as aren't understanding of how blunt sometimes I can be, kind of workshop it so that it's easier received while still being assertive in my boundaries. And then I think that's something that I can do within the next 2 weeks. I think that by the end of the first week of October, figuring out those boundaries and finding a way to communicate those boundaries with those around me would be important. And then incorporating those boundaries into the organization and time schedule that I made would be next. And I think that giving myself until the end of October to kind of find my groove with that would be good. And then after I find so to speak onto prioritization and time management and prioritization, I said that already, but I've also had a very sick toddler all week, so I've been sleep deprived on the type of everything else. Unfortunately, my son did have hand, foot, mouth disease, and so he's just been fussy, which means mommy has been up, and mommy has been fighting for her life, so please forgive me. But after getting into the groove of things and like incorporating both the boundaries and the prioritization in the schedule, I think that I would be able to use the rest of the semester, November through December, to really just knock it out and just be solid and work on that consistency piece, which is honestly going to be the most important part of it all, is being consistent. So I'm hoping to be able to develop these skills, so that I can, I consider this my personal life, trying to do the balance portion of it. But then I want to be able to transfer these skills of prioritizing and boundary setting and all of that into my work life, into my school life as well. So I'm hoping that if I can do that in my personal life this first semester, then moving forward, the rest of the program, and just moving forward in general, I'll be able to maintain that, and it'll come as a second nature to me. So yeah, that's my leadership development blog. I hope that you have enjoyed listening to me. Yeah, if you can't tell, I'm a little awkward. So, it has been a pleasure doing these. It has been very eye-opening. It has been very reflective for me. And I'm sure, as you can see, because I'm very animated, that sometimes as I'm talking, it clicks as I go. And so it's been very eye-opening, very real for me. So thank you.